Hey guys, Sean here, and welcome to the F1 Word. Now, it's been just over a week since Christian Horner was released of his operational duties at Red Bull, and there has been the odd news story here and there about it all. Talk of gardening leave, a team at Verstappen plan to oust him, £50 million payouts, and his plans to open a small shop selling items such as thread, buttons and fabric in Milton Keynes called Horner's Haberdashery. Okay, I may have made that last part up, but whilst the rumours continue to swirl about why he was sacked as team principal, the real question for me at least is what comes next for Horner. Maybe the haberdashery idea isn't a bad one, or perhaps Netflix will pick him up and commission a new series called At Home with the Horners that comes with a lovely fat paycheck. After all, who doesn't want an insight into the home life of the now ex-Red Bull team boss? Well, me for one, but you know, some people love that kind of nonsense. Jokes aside, the reality is that Horner is a racer and it's hard to imagine him wanting to spend too much time on the sidelines. He will likely have to do so to a point, given how probable it is that a period of gardening leave will be enforced upon him by the team. After all, he will inevitably have detailed knowledge of both Red Bull racing and Red Bull powertrains, and he's going to possess an invaluable quantity of intellectual property. And because it is near impossible to police that being shared quietly with any new team, it is a standard practice for entities to sideline key players for a period to diminish the value such information can offer. However, even in, let's say, a year's time from now, Horner will still present an enticing prospect to teams given his track record. At time of recording, his most likely destination seems to be Alpine. The Aston team has been ploughing through team bosses like there's no tomorrow in recent years, and so even though Steve Nielsen is set to take the reins at the team from September, Horner's sudden availability will have piqued Flavio Briatore's interest, I'm sure. As I mentioned in a video I did recently on how long each team boss has been in their current role, I do think Nielsen is a good appointment given his years of experience in the sport and his previous working relationship with Briatore. However, whilst his general F1 experience is undeniable, Nielsen has no experience whatsoever in leading a team, never mind in trying to transform a struggling outfit into consistent point scorers, podium finishers, and, as I'm sure Briatore hopes, race winners and title contenders. Therefore, if he can be enticed to join, could Horner slot in alongside Nielsen and steady that ship? It is also absolutely worth pointing out that Horner is keen to take a stake in a team at some stage, and so the Enstone squad could be his best opportunity to do just that. Whilst they are adamant the team is not for sale, the owners are more than happy to bring in shareholders, and given the ups and downs and the coming and going and the coming back again before leaving and then returning from Renault over the years, he could help to offer some stability and security to the team in that area. It could be one of those everybody wins situations, unless, of course, you're Steve Nielsen. That could go either way. Another idea that seems to keep doing the rounds is that of a move to Ferrari to replace the allegedly under pressure and at times under fire Fred Vasseur. It is seemingly no secret that his job is on the line, and as he approaches the end of his current contract, hope of a renewal seems a way off at the moment. And whilst the idea of Horner to Ferrari may seem unlikely to some, don't forget that these rumours have been doing the rounds not just for a few weeks, but on and off for years now, and it was only a few weeks ago that the Scuderia made an approach to sign him, only to be rebuffed by a man who at the time insisted he was fully committed to Red Bull. The point is, as much as the Ferrari drivers team and Vasseur keep batting away the talk of an exit, what does it say about how committed the Scuderia is to their current team boss if they are already starting to shop around? Okay, perhaps if we're being generous, they're just putting the feelers out in case there is no renewal, but that might be a bit of a naive outlook. There are other options out there. Cadillac is an interesting shout that has been thrown around mostly on social media and in comment sections, but it is worth a mention, although I won't go into too much detail about it all at this stage, as Elizabeth is working on a video for next week about the new team. But briefly, Cadillac is a brand new entry that has and is being built from scratch, and whilst Red Bull picked up an already established outfit in Jaguar, formerly Stewart, Horner did still play a huge part in turning the team's fortunes around and help them to achieve 8 drivers and 6 Constructors' Championship crowns in a period of 15 years, amassing well over 100 race wins. Not too shabby for just an energy drinks company. Okay, Graham Loudon is team principal at Cadillac now and will hold that role when the team debuts next year, but Horner could be a great option in some capacity for them in the future, but I'll leave it at that for now. If Horner doesn't fancy jumping more or less straight back into team management, he might want to fill one of the many roles within the FIA or even at Formula One management. I mean, he's well versed in the political world of Formula One and so might fancy a little dabble. Presidency is probably a way off at this stage, but there might be something there. And given the, forgive me, memes around how often he's appeared on Sky over the years, perhaps he could have a go at punditry. I mean, come on, who wouldn't want to listen to Danica Patrick, Jacques Villeneuve and Christian Horner arguing over the latest non-story that Sky has managed to send hyperbolic? In all seriousness, he may not be a very popular guy, but given his vast amounts of very recent experience in F1 and the team management side to boot, he might actually be a more interesting person to listen to than, for example, me or someone else on Sky anyway. He'd also offer a different perspective to the ex-drivers we tend to see. It's just a thought. One other thing that we have to consider is just how much time and effort, physically and mentally, Formula One can have on any individual, not least one in charge of such a big organisation with such huge expectations. The reason I bring that up is that going back to make a serious point around the jokes I made at the start, after 2 decades gallivanting across the planet, he might fancy taking a long period of time off to recuperate and focus on his family life. Come on, we'd all love a chance to slow down for a bit if we could, right? And perhaps during that time off, he may well realise that he doesn't really need or want to chase racing cars anymore and call it a day. Honestly, I'd be very, very surprised if that happened, but it's not impossible. So those are some of the possible routes Horner may head down in the future, but let's wrap up, and yes, I'll even make a prediction. And if you're watching this in the future, please take note of the upload date when you come back to tell me I'm wrong, something those on TikTok probably should learn to do. Alpine probably sits top of the list as of right now, but Ferrari will more than likely at least raise the possibility with him again. After all, Horner still has a ton to offer and has achieved so much at Red Bull and as a result in Formula One, so the opportunity to lead such a legendary team like Ferrari is one he may struggle to turn down, and given what he has achieved, he is clearly well equipped to take the reins. We have to remember as well, though, that Horner has kids, a family to consider, and so perhaps the idea of uprooting them all to Italy or even having to commute back and forth, imagine the traffic, is a step too far for him, which of course was one of the reasons Adrian Newey apparently wasn't overly thrilled about when talk of a Ferrari switch was out there before he signed with Aston Martin. But as Matt Koch, deputy editor at planetf1.com and someone who has way more access and connections to people in and around the paddock than I do, recently said, Renault's factory team shares much in common with Jaguar, out of whose ashes Horner raised Red Bull, and he undoubtedly has the skills and expertise to transform the team, but it assumes a desire to add to its managerial ranks in the wake of the Nielsen appointment. So basically, if Flav does decide to make a change or add to his management team, and with everything I've already said, including not wanting to move to Italy in mind, that's why I think it is more than likely post-gardening leave, Horner is going to head to Enstone if he does return to F1. So that's my prediction. Christian Horner to Alpine, and probably with a stake in the team or the promise of one at least too. The reality is, though, that Horner won't even know now, and all we can do is speculate. Don't forget, it wasn't all that long ago that he was publicly committing to the team and had no intentions of going anywhere. So he's more than likely still processing the events that have caught pretty much everyone by surprise, and probably hasn't given much thought to what comes next. But this is certainly one to keep an eye on in the coming days, weeks and months, and be prepared for him to be linked with just about every team and every job going in the paddock before something is officially announced. That is it for this one then, but let me know down in the comments where you think Christian Horner will end up next. And on your way down there, please do consider leaving a like, as it really does help the channel in its never-ending battle with the YouTube algorithm, and consider subscribing too so you don't miss any future videos or streams. But as ever, thank you for watching. I've been Sean, this has been the F1 Word, and until next time, goodbye.